and do the CSS part. This one is usually a lot faster, and for the services page, it should be even more faster because you guys already kind of know my way of working with the HTML. All right, so let's start with the top part. So the first part to style is the nav bar. Can you all mute yourselves? Can you mute yourself? Thank you. All right. So the first part is the nav container. So let me actually get this one. Like right there. Okay. Just gonna have it right here since we're just styling the nav bar right now. So what I usually recommend, every time you start styling something, like the main container of something, add a border. Okay, save. So now you have a visual reference of the container. So after you I added the border. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give it a margin first, because if you see this one right here is not all the way to the top. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a margin top, and let's say 20 pixels, and that seems to be good. And also I'm going to give it a display of flex. So we're starting to use flex now. And after we add the style of flex, just to make sure, I'm gonna say its width to take the 100% of the space it has available. So that would be this much. And I'm gonna give it a height, because if you see here there's actually is a container right here, and the container would be like that big, kind of, and everything is centered in the middle of it. So right now for that we need a height, and let's just say something like 50. I would like it a little bit bigger, 60. All right, so now we have the height. So to center all the items, we are going to use the align items and set it to center. And if you see now, everything is in the middle, like in the center of it. And now to spread everything apart, we're going to use the justify content property. And let's just say to space, let's check them out. So space around looks good. I like the space around more. So let's go with space around. All right. So right now we're pretty much done with our nav bar. Now with the main container. Now we just have to touch up the A tags. So they are like gray and they don't have the underline on the bottom. So for that, we're gonna say nav A, and let's just say text decoration none, and color, let's just say gray. Right now, and if you see, we're done with the nav, with the top part. Now I'm gonna make this a little smaller. Now we're gonna do the header section.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
As we think about responsive design coming up, I noticed that you chose to do like a hardcore pixels for your width, but a lot of times it seems like
Yeah.
using like 100%. Is there like an easy rule or like any at this point early guidance in terms of like it's best to use pixels here and percentages here?
Not because even in responsiveness, we use pixels. We just use something you're gonna learn soon that's called media queries. So depending how big the screen is, we tell we tell them like if it's in a mobile phone, make the whole page width to 500 pixels. If it's in a tablet, make it 800. If it's on a computer or like a normal monitor, make it 1200 pixels. So, and after we use the pixels in like the main one, then we start using the percentages. Yeah, but right now don't really worry about that. You're gonna learn that I think maybe next week. All right, so let's get down with the header. So here, usually I just do div tags, but since I saw that you guys are doing header and footer and all that, I wanted to go with that. But usually I would do a div with a header class. Okay, so let's do header, and as always, add a border to it so we can see now what we're working with. Okay, and now first I'm gonna give a display of flex, and now it's side to side. And actually right here, I'm just now going to give it, let's see, I'm gonna space them around using the justify content. Save. And now right now they're like side to side. So that's pretty much done for this container. And I'm also going to add a margin top and bottom, because if you see there's some space between them, the nav and the header container. So I'm gonna say margin, and let's say 40 pixels. Okay, and now we have some space. Okay, so we're done with the main header container. And now we're gonna go inside the left container. I'm actually just gonna say container. Okay, so it's this one right here. So what do we wanna do for that one? Just go header, and then we call the class or reference the class. And after that, we do the border as always. And now we see a border in it. So this one is going to be a flex container also. So we set the display to flex. And now we can start playing with it. So now, actually, yeah, let's keep going. I think it's going good. So display flex, and all right, yeah, that's what I'm missing, the flex direction. We're gonna set it to column, and now it's like top and bottom. And using the align items, we're gonna send it to the center. So save. Oh, it's already on the center. And using align content, we're gonna say like in the middle part. So align items didn't center it like this one to here because we're using a column. So to center a column, you have to use align content. And let me see. Let me check that real quick. Actually, let me add an item sender to this one too. Okay, let me check. Okay, there you go. I don't know what happened. What it? Oh, okay. I was missing this one. I forgot to align them to the center. Okay. Now, actually, we don't need these two. I don't think we do. No, we don't need them. All right. So now we're gonna uh, change the size of the stuff in the middle of, for the heading. So now we're gonna do header h1 because it's the h1. It's inside the header, so that's how we reference it. And let's say the font size. Let's increase the font size to 60, and that looks good. Okay, and now we're gonna align the text. And actually, I think it's text align to the center, and now it's in the middle. And if I get this one right here, actually it looks bigger. Let's do it 70. Yeah, it looks better. Okay, and no, we don't really need a border on that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna do this button right here. So for that one, we use div class button. And this one, when you do buttons, you can do them like instead of doing the header and then dot button, just leave it out, because this way you will be able to use the button like as many times you want. So if you wanted to put a button somewhere else, you just create a div with that class and fill it up the same way. Okay, let's go. Let's create a border. Let's see, 2 pixels, so it's a little. Thicker. Actually, I'm just going to leave it 1 pixels. 1 pixel thick. All right. Then we're going to set the width. Let's say to something like 50%. So half. And then actually, let's set a padding. I think that would be easier to center it. So we set a padding, and we can say, well, let me think about this for a second. No, never mind. I'm actually going to with the width. And on the header container, I'm going to, yeah, I'm just going to keep doing the button. I got a little confused for a second. Okay, and let's increase the font size. A little bit bigger. And now let's change, let's remove the text decoration and set it to none. All right, and the color to black. Okay, and right here, header, left container, I'm just gonna give it I'm gonna justify content and center. And or is it align items? Okay, so now the button is in the center. Now let's just give the bar some padding. So let's say do 5px on the sides, on the top and bottom, and 10px on the sides. Okay, and we're gonna say in the text align text, or text align. Yeah, and we're gonna center that. Okay, so let's center with a margin. Okay, I'm just gonna skip that right now. And let's add, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it like that right now, so I don't get stuck in something. Okay, so now the middle section is done. And then now let's style the divider. That's after that. So for that, we just select that class and we give it a height. And let's say 1 pixel. Actually, you need a height. You just need a border. Let's say border top and say, let's make it 2 pixels, solid and black. Okay, and now we have our divider in there. And now let's go to the next section. That is the middle section. Okay, I'm just put that like that right now. All right, so let's go install the middle first. So middle section, and let's just give it a margin of 30 pixels on the top and the bottom. Actually, 0. So there's some spacing between them. And now we're gonna, we don't really need to use flex here since it's already, actually I'm missing this picture right here, but I'll get that later. So because it's already inline, it's already separating in blocks, so it's going down. So I'm just gonna go and do the top part of the middle container. So let's just say, where is the top? Okay. Dot middle top. And let's give it a border because borders are cool. So we can see that section is the one we're working on. And then let's just give it a display of flex. And now they're side to side. But now we want the width of these cards to be smaller. So let's say top container. And let's do the width something like 40%. Okay, so they're a little bit smaller now. I know if you go to the middle top, you can use a space around or a space between to separate them. So justify content, let's just space around. And now they're separated into two different sections. And let's also give some, okay, I'm gonna add that with the picture. And let me find that picture. So it should be somewhere in here, middle image. And add that right in the middle of it. Okay. Let me check what's going on real quick. Oh, okay, my bad. This one goes after the top section. So it will be right there. Okay, and now it's right there. And let's just make it so it takes the whole space. And so it has a class of of middle image. And let's just make its width 100%. Okay, that looks good. And let's give it, let's keep that one like that. That one looks good. And so for the middle bottom, it's gonna be really similar than what we did for the middle top. So I'm just gonna copy that and paste it. And change the class to middle bottom. And now you see here that, oh, actually added 2 extra ones, I think. Oh, just one, just the features. All right. And I think something broke one of my containers. Okay. Give me 1 sec. Okay, and that's fixed now. So now in the middle bottom, we have to give it a width of 100%. So right here, you see the box is not taking the whole space. So let's do that. Width of 100%. And actually, let's set the middle to this to a flex. And a column, flex direction, column. Okay. And let's see. I'm just going to keep going with this, I think. So this one has to be a little bit smaller and these ones right here, let's give them a border. Oh, okay, I see. There we go. Okay, so right now I just have to check why this border right here is not taking the whole space, which it should be taking it middle, bottom.
Did you say you was going to post this recording on Slack?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
All right, so let me check this right here real quick. Okay, so I'll actually add the recording. Oh, the display to the middle bottom. Let's see. So where's the middle flex? All right. So right now the problem we're having is that the top container, so the bottom top, the bottom container, it's not taking the whole width. Does anyone have any tips for this one? So anyone think of something? Well, to see if we can fix it together. So I have the container.
So,
Could you?
oh, go ahead.
You're
I'm
good.
I was just wondering if there was a way, because it's not taking the width, right? I'm having this exact same problem that I can't get it to stretch. And I thought maybe something was overriding it.
Okay.
Could you do space between? Justify content space between? Maybe?
That'll only work in the box, though.
Yeah, that only affects the box. Just let me check something real quick. All right, I think I know what's going on. So middle.
Is your mic further away, or is it me?
Yeah, my mic is like all the way to on the camera. Am I a little low?
Oh, I just thought that since we talked, you fell off quite a bit, but it might be just my phone.
Okay.
Stop it.
Okay, just 1 sec. I'm gonna try to fix this because
Hey, can you guys mute your audio if you're not asking questions for me, please?
All right, so let's see. Okay, so I'm just gonna override the width on the middle bottom container. So I'm just gonna say width, and I think I set it to 1000. So I'm gonna set it to that. All right. Yeah, just a quick workaround, and I'm actually in the image, I'm gonna add a margin to the top and the bottom. So there's some spacing between them, as you can see here. So I'm just gonna say medium image, margin, and I'm gonna say 12 pixels on the top and bottom and 0 on the sides. All right, and that's looking better. And actually the contact, we don't really need much. So I'm just going to grab the contact section and give it some margins. Let me see here. So dot contact, and I'm just gonna give it a margin top of something like 30 pixels. All right, and middle bottom, I'm gonna give it a middle. All right, let me see if I have the, all right. Let me do a container here. All right, yeah, that's fine. And I'm gonna give it margin bottom in this one. Give it like 20 pixels. All right, I know there's some spacing. And for the footer, which is not showing, I don't know why. Oh yeah, I see it's right here. So let's give some margin to the bottom of the contact too. So I'm just gonna change this one to margin. And so like that. All right, and now we have the copyright graded yet. So we just grab the footer and text align to the center. I know it's the center. And now that we have everything ready and we remove all the containers, we have the site. And also, I'm gonna try to go over the services, but I'm actually, instead of writing the code myself, I'm just gonna leave the code that already written, which is not this one. It's this one right here. I'm just going to do the, okay. And I'm just going to do the CSS for this one to keep it short because we have 8 minutes and hopefully we can get it in 8 minutes. Let's see. So I'm just gonna add an href to the index to the services side. All right. So we can just change the sites if we click here. All right. And let's get rid of this one right here. Okay, and let's start styling. So let's create a new CSS, so services.css. And we're gonna reuse the nav, the body and the nav part. So the nav it's already done. Okay. So now in the services, let me find the folder. Should be desktop, design files, services. Okay. So here we have also 3 sections. So we have this first one that's pretty like relatively like simple. So for that first one, right here I set it to top. So that's my main container, top. And let's add a border to that. 1px solid black, save. Okay, now we see that one's there already. Okay, so for that one, let's just give it a margin of 30 pixels on the top and bottom. So we have some space between the nav bar and the stuff that's in the bottom. And let's just make the picture wider. So let's say width and 100%. Okay, so that looks good for the first part. We don't even have to touch this bottom part. If you see that, maybe that looks good to me. And now we're gonna also reuse the divider that we created in the last one. So let me get it real quick. And it's right here. Okay. Now we have that the divider there. Now this is a little complicated. So first here, we're gonna make these cards and they're gonna wrap. So it's not really complicated, but it's the process is a little weird. So first we're gonna grab the middle section. And after we grab the middle section, just do a border. So we can know where it is. And I always add the margins to the sections. So now we have some spacing. And after you have that, we also need to display them as a flex box. And this is gonna make them look like this, a little weird. But before finishing the middle middle section, we're gonna jump into the service card. So each one of these ones, I named them a service card. So let's do that real quick. So for the service cards, we are gonna need a border 2, right? And we have to set the display to flex. And I'll also set the flex direction to a column. And now we have our containers with flex. And after that, now we have these things, and now we have to set up a width. So it wants 2 in each side. So I'm just gonna set the width to like 45%. So something lower than 50%. 40. All right. And now if we go back to the middle container, we can add the wrap. So flex wrap and wrap it. Now if you see, the containers got wrapped. And now that we have them like wrapping, we can justify content and set them to like space around. I usually use space around because the one that I think looks best. And now in the service cards, let's just add a margin to the top and bottom. So let's say 10px. I know they're separated. And let's give a background color. I actually have the color right here. So background color, and the sim is gonna end. So I'm just gonna make a new one and finish it in the new one. So we're almost done.
Thank you so much for what you're doing. Holy crap, this is exactly what I needed.
Me too. Me too. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. The best one so far.
No kidding. All right.
I agree. You're awesome.